Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Extra Time, the Wolves fan phone-in show. And for this one, we're going to be obviously looking at another defeat for our beloved side, Wolverhampton Wanderers. This time by 3-0 by Chelsea over at Stamford Bridge. We're going to be chewing the fat on that. We've got obviously guests line up already on the phone lines and in the green room to come on, and we're going to be chewing the fat. But the facts of the matter is, Wolves have played 9 games. We've got 6 points, and we've still only scored 3 goals. It's quite a nice symmetry. That's the 9, the 6, and the 3, but it's not one that we really want. We'd rather have it the other way around. Played 3, scored 6, 9 points. But this is the Wolves way, isn't it? So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be obviously discussing the latest on the managerial situation, which we'll hopefully hear some more on, this week. And we're going to be reflecting on the day, man of the match, performance rating, your highlight of the day, and of course, I'm sure during that, we're going to also be talking about the fantastic achievements of Manny, who's a regular here on the channel and on the podcast host as well. Walking 120 some odd miles from Molineux over 2.5 days in all weather conditions, all terrains, to arrive at Chelsea just before 2:00 at Stamford Bridge, and raising over £25,000 for what is a very important charity, Dementia UK. I know that he's got some crutches sent round to him today, so I think he's really struggling. When we walked back to the car yesterday with him after the game, and after we'd done the instant reaction, he was walking like John Wayne. Had been on a horse you could see he was really suffering. But he managed to get it through. It was quite an emotional when he came and he arrived at Stamford Bridge, there with his wife, Sabig, the hugs, the tears, the emotions, and a load of Wolves fans, flying the dementia flags for Dementia UK as well. And so absolutely fantastic. But we're gonna kick off. We're gonna kick off underway. We've already got 94 watching in the stream, and I'm going to bring on. He's normally the bookend at the back, but this day is the bookend at the front. Hello, Josh. How are you?
I'm good, thanks, Dave. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm really good. Busy old couple of days, and you're looking very smart. Nice top you got on there. It's Albion might get that idea of having the blue.
Yeah.
The stripes.
I was thinking that then as we were sitting in the green room talking, I was just thinking, actually, I'm looking like I'm wearing Albion colours tonight.
They'll get ideas. They will. They get ideas. To be honest, the only consolation for me at the moment with the situation that Wolves are in is the fun down the road with Albion and their problems as well. So the fact that they're having a major load of problems means that similar sort of situation, actually. They're shooting and can't score and can't win either. Probably means the Albion fans are a little bit quiet on having a go at having a pot of our situation. Yeah. Were you there yesterday, mate?
I was indeed, yeah.
Well, there's loads of people already coming on saying good evening to you, mate. On the chat. So yeah, guys, if you're in the chat, please join in the conversation with us. We love the fact that you're joining us live to watch the show. Join in the conversation. Feel free to make any statements or comments on what we say. And of course, if you want to ask any questions to our pundits on the screen, which is Josh for this one, feel free. Josh, who did you go with yesterday?
I went with, funnily enough, some ex-band members in the Boys Brigade. They were all under my dad's reign, so they're a bit older than me. But
right, okay. Did you go in a car or a coach or a
went down on the couch.
Who did you travel with, mate?
We usually try and get on with Hafferton, but we couldn't get on with them for this one, so we went with Tata for this one.
You went with Tata Travels, and they actually made it to the ground.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
I did hear a story with Tata Travels. I know they put them on the good crack that they have. I think one time, was it 3 or 4 years ago, they were going to Huddersfield and they arrived at Barnsley or something like that. The coach driver did.
Borough and they ended up at Turf Moor, I think it was.
They were going to Borough and they ended up at Turf Moor. Yeah, I mean, like that's an interesting one, isn't it? Now, I know see Dan in the background trying to get on, and he keeps blipping on in the green room. I hope he does make it. So for the producer can just take a note of if you can message Dan if he's trying to get on. He's on the Always Wolves thing. Anyway, he seems to be strong. Hopefully, he's going to get on. I can see him in the green room. But any case, moving on. I'll just he's making his debut tonight. So so you went down with Tato. What time did you arrive?
I think we got in about 1:45.
Quarter to two.
Yeah, got there for 1:45.
Did you stop off on the way down?
Yeah, we had a stop off in Uxbridge on the way down, which wasn't
a pub somewhere.
Nice little pub stop actually. Like had a massive conservatory thing on the side of it, so it was quite warm in there to be honest.
How long were you there for?
About there for 2.5 hours.
And what was the mood like on the bus on the way back?
It was pretty on the way back. So it was quite rowdy. We had a rowdy bunch on the back, but the rest of the coach was all quite like. But is miffed the word? I'll probably say a bit down in the dumps after that result.
Miffed would be one word. Probably not miffed. Probably what would be a better word to use than miffed? How I was feeling. I was kind of feeling numb.
Yeah, that explains it perfectly. I'll describe it perfectly.
And the reason I say numb, it's kind of because it's happened so many times that you're kind of like, oh, we've lost again, we've not scored again. Yeah. That's kind of how I'm kind of feeling. I mean, I was trying to be Mr. Positive going into the game.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh yeah, well, Neves is suspended, Collins is suspended. I was thinking, I'll put in my team Boubacar Traore. I was thinking he'll come in. Yeah. Oh no, he goes and gets ill. Yeah. Then you're going to get Neto that's injured out for 10 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
We've got no strikers other than Chen, who came on and did all right. And then you've obviously got Diego, who's still getting up to match fitness. You think everything's against us. We're bound to win. It's one of them. Yeah. And I even saw a couple of pairs of magpies on the way down. Right, and I thought, that's for joy. And then as I was walking to the ground, if you watch my match vlog, you probably saw I saw this pub and it had a big wolf head on it. Yeah. I'm like, there's an omen. It's going to happen.
Something's going to happen.
And so I was feeling, and then obviously had all the stuff with Manny arriving and stuff like that. And I was thinking, it'd be a perfect day if we can get something out of it. And then we're 0-0. Chelsea, to be fair, had the better of the first half. But I thought we defended and battled well as a team.
Yeah, we kept up with them, I thought, first half, and then literally last kick of that first half.
Well, it wasn't even a kick; it was that head. To be honest, when the cross came over and the head had come over, it looped, and I thought, my instant reaction, it's over the bar like a few of the others, and then it just went, and it dropped into the thing, and then went to the centre circle, kicked off, whistle. 1-0 down. It's like we could have gone in at 0-0.
Yeah, you'd have took it. Yeah, I thought really. It was about 10 minutes before Jose Sarr made a cracking save.
Oh, what a save that was!
Absolutely brilliant.
That was top bins. That was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was going. It was going in definitely. And then literally 5 minutes after that, he has his mad run out, and then he makes another mad run out again, and Havertz has just knocked it over the top of him. And it looks like it stayed in the air for ages. He just looped over the top of him in the back of the net.
It just didn't it? And then that was a sucker punch. However, I thought the reaction after half time, I mean, obviously straight away he's taken Guedes off. Now, I don't know if you've watched if you've read the player ratings on the Always Wolves website. Guys, if you've not got onto alwayswolves.co.uk, save it as your blog, because we've got a team of writers that work really hard. They do match reports, they do player ratings, they do things we've learned. We do the preview. We've got other articles. It's a really great blog and website, and there's articles going on virtually every day. Some great reads on there, and it's all done by Wolves fans. So you really need to get onto the alwayswolves.co.uk and save it to one of your favourites because there's so much on there. But he's done the player ratings. I think he gave Geddes a 3.
3, yeah.
A 3. Now, do you think he was dragged off because he was poor, or do you think it was, as some people said, they're not fit enough?
I did see something. I think my brother, so I'm just going to try and find it actually on my phone. He sent me a message, I think, before the game, potentially. What did it say? On the basis of, where did it go? No, he sent me some form of a photo of someone's Instagram post saying that it's scheduled that Guedes, Costa, and one more were all going to be hauled off at half time because they're either not fit or injured. And he said,
well, I thought Costa might get around about 60 minutes. He got 55, which is fair enough because he's coming back to full fitness. He never, he had a couple of sniffs. He didn't really have a sniff. He wanted to start. He had a great reception from the Chelsea fans when he went off. He milked it a bit because he went off the one side and walked all the way around. He did milk it. But fair play. I mean, he had a good reaction, and Geddes. What's going on with Geddes?
It's frustrating because I've watched him a few times over the last few years, and I've always thought he's an exciting player. And he had the first few games when he come with us, he looked like he had something, and in the last 2 or 3, he's just gone missing. It's a shame. So it's like Semedo. When Semedo come, I'd watched him for a few years before he signed, and when he come, I was over the moon when we signed him. Same with Guedes, and it was just Guedes at the moment. He's just going through the motions. He's not showing any sign at the moment of being the player I've watched in the past.
Now, what do you put that down to? And I'm sure we'll talk about this with the other guys. Do you put it down to application, that he's sulking, that his confidence is out, that he's not happy? What do you put
I think it's confidence, personally. Watching him yesterday, his head was down all the time, and there was a few passes that went astray and crosses, and you could see Costa going, having words with him, trying to say he looked more of a go rather than a G up. So whether his confidence, well, to be fair, looking at him, his confidence is shot completely.
Well, you wouldn't blame all the Wolves team at the moment to have their confidence shot. But the start of the second half, he brought on young Joseph Hodge.
Yeah.
I don't think he did anything wrong. I thought he was
tidy. Like I said about Kundle. Kundle was Spurs last year. Hodge come on, didn't do anything sublime, didn't do anything rubbish. He was slap bang in the middle, did the job he needed to do, and made his first appearance look like he was meant to be there in the team.
Yeah, I mean, he did all right. We got him from Manchester City Academy, and in pre-season, out of the likes of Kundle, Connor Ronan, all those sorts of stuff, he was the standout player of the younger generation. He came on a big stage for him to come on.
Yeah,
at Stamford Bridge against a team as big in quality, and I thought he didn't do anything wrong, and he's a real prospect. Again, we've got some good young prospects coming through. What did you think when the team came out?
After hearing Boubacar Traoré was out, and I said middle of the week, I said I would not be surprised if we saw the front three of Costa, Adama, Costa, Campbell. I possibly thought Campbell may have got to start with Steve Davis coaching in the last few years. But other than with Potence on the wing, I wasn't surprised with the start of the lineup at all. Toti was probably a bit of a surprise for me on the basis that Mosquera was on the touchline against City, ready to come on before Bruno said, you know what, leave Neves at centre half. So Toti coming in, to be fair, I thought he did all right.
Well, the thing is with Toti Gomez and Mosquera, and someone tell me if I'm wrong, and we're going to come on to Carl's question in a minute. The thing with that Toti is someone that plays on the left. So obviously you move Kilman to the right, and I think Mosquera can play on the right, and Kilman could have stayed. So obviously he felt about Toti. I didn't think Toti did a lot wrong, really. I mean, he was
couple of stops he made in the box, I thought were decent stops.
Yeah, which is good, but that just it buggers belief that Bruno Lage played Neves in the back, and we lost our main midfielder. Carl Whitehouse, question for both of you: did you think the formation was better in the second half than the first half?
I thought we had more. I was going to say we had more of the ball, but in midfield. But I thought we had more what's the word? More depth in midfield. Because I thought it was two in midfield, or was it three in midfield? Pedence was playing just beyond the striker and the midfield too, wasn't he? So to go for like a flat three, I thought it gave us more of an option in midfield to move the ball about a bit. But then I thought we lost that output going forward a bit more.
Yeah, well, it was a 4-3-2-1 or 4-2-3-1 in the first half, and then the second half, I think he changed to the 4-3-3.
Yeah,
and I've got to say, fair play to Steve Davis. You know, I mean, let's just take a moment to think. Steve Davis has been a Wolves fan since the age of 6. He's like what's his colleague? James Collins, isn't it? James Collins. You know, but Steve Davis, Wolves fan since the age of 6. Under 23, under 21's coach.
Could have got the job in 2014.
Yeah, well, he takes Wolves as a, takes charge of the first team in a Premier League match at Stamford Bridge. Whatever happens, as a Wolves fan, he can never have that taken about. He sat in the dressing room with all of them. He's coached them, he prepared them, and we lost the game, but he made some decisions. And he made the decision for the second half. I thought the first 10 minutes of the second half, I thought we were really good.
Yeah, because we had some chances, got a bit foot forward, a bit more. Adama started to get the better of who was playing left back. Aspilicueta, I think.
Yeah.
Started to get the better of him a bit. And I just feel we missed that yesterday. It was that cutting edge.
Right.
It says we say every week.
Cutting edge.
Yeah.
I don't think they know what I was watching the obviously in front of us, right. I was right behind the goal. I was watching the shots in the warm up and they were missing.
Yeah.
And going, into the top tier and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God. They did score the odd 1 or 2, but like law of averages. But like again, there's a couple of chances like that Pedence had a nice header at the near post, which flicked by, which was fair play to him. He's headering the ball, Pedence. But it was a nice header. It was, I think the keeper had it covered. And then second half, we had a couple of opportunities. Well, Costa got through on one time, and then he got tangled up under his feet.
We did twice in the space of 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then, we've had a couple of shots over the bar. And Pedence, there's one bit in the second half at the other end when Pedence seemed to be out on the 6-yard box and seems to only got to shoot. And then he tries to tip it inside, and we try, and it's like, there is no cutting edge. No. There's no edge. There's no knife. There's no. I think we've got a plastic spoon or something like that.
Toothless.
We need a cutting edge, and then that's what exactly I thought. To be honest, I was thinking Chelsea were lacking a cutting edge in the first half, and I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, it's going to be one of them days where they're going to not fire and we're going to break down the other end and
nick something.
And then that goal went in. And then the second half, the 2 finishes, the second one killed us, really, because we were...
Pulisic who got the second, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Was it Pulisic who got the second?
I think it was. It was a good finish. Again, Saar maybe could have done better. It was, it was an awkward angle and it was a great finish. And then the last one was right at the end of the first half. It was a thunderbolt finish.
Yeah,
that. And that's 3-0. And you can't say that Chelsea didn't win it. Neil White's got a question. Wolves have to recruit a director of football.
It does seem like something we need to do. And it's been mentioned every year since God knows when that we need a director of football, but it's never happened. It's never happened at all. And Forest have gone and done it this week, which I found surprising. And they've gone and extended Steve Cooper's contract.
Well, that is an interesting decision. It goes against the grain. Steve Cooper looked like a bit of a beaten man against Leicester. They've backed him. Maybe that'll give, which is against the grain. He's done fantastic for them. And, I think they've got a game against Villa tomorrow night, which will be interesting. And then, of course, we've got Forest next week. We've got Forest, Leicester and Palace coming up. Palace who won again today. Leicester did beat Forest and then they went and lost to Bournemouth. So it's a big period of time coming up. And
massive.
What's your, before we get on to the last couple of questions and the spin the wheel, What's your thoughts on the manager situation?
For me, and I've said it the last week, I can't see anyone other than Julian Lopetegui, personally. The only other name that's banding about who I did like his football, but he's only ever really shown himself at Olympiacos, was Pedro Martins. And I thought they play good football, but is it going to be good enough for what we need?
Pedro Martins is an interesting one because he was going to Hull, then he wasn't going to Hull, then he was going to Hull, and now he's not going to Hull again. And
demands or something.
Emma, the producer, said, I'm a bit concerned that why is he not going to Hull?
Yeah.
And if he was going to Hull, to the Championship Hull, and we're getting him, she's concerned.
Yeah.
About that.
If I had to pick out the two, it would be Lopetegui. I know a few people.
Well, there's Ruben Mart. What's his name? Ruben?
Amarim.
Amaram as well. Who's I
don't think he's what 30 million buyout clause, and he's only managed Braga with any team with any noose in Portugal. He's only managed Braga and Sporting, so he's not really in my eyes. He's not true. Really.
But he's very, very highly regarded. He's supposed to be the next Pep Guardiola or whatever it is. And then the other one that I wouldn't mind personally is the manager of Porto. I can't think of what his name is because he's been there for 4 or 5 years.
Not Consencio anymore, is it?
I can't think what his name is. The manager of Porto. Producer will tell me in a minute, or Carl will pop up and tell me. But yeah, I mean, like he's been at Porto for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And surely he'd want a new challenge. So, could go and get him, but we'll have to wait and see on what happens. Well, Conceição.
Yeah, still Consencio, isn't it?
Or as I say, can't say so. But there you go. So you're man of the match, your performance rating and your highlight of the day.
Man of the match, because he did get a few chances. I'll probably have to go Adama.
Adama Traore, right?
Yeah. I thought he played well yesterday, considering the last few times he's played, he's not looked bothered.
Yeah.
But the score, it's going to be about a 4.
A 4, okay.
Yeah.
And your highlight of the day?
Highlight has got to be Manny. It's got to be Manny finishing his walk and doing all that over the 3 days and everything. I think it's a massive achievement for him, and raising 20 grand just on the walk alone.
Pounds. Yeah. Is it an award ceremony tomorrow in London for Dementia UK? Then he's at the Wolves Women Baggies game. I'm going to that. Wednesday at Telford. I'll be there for that to support the women.
I'm try and get up to that.
And then it's Samosa Saturday on Saturday against Boris. I'll be helping with that. And then, maybe we'll play some nice triangles and move the ball around and win the game. Let's hope. But anyway, mate, we've got to get on to the key thing because we've got to get on to spin the wheel. Can you see the wheel?
I can indeed.
So there we are. So we've got spin the wheel, and I'm going to give it a little spin, and let's see what it comes up with. Ooh. So your question is, and this is for the chat as well, you can answer this. Would you rather have no nose or no arms?
No nose.
One of Emma's has put this in.
I'd rather have no nose.
No nose. No nose at all.
On no nose at all. On the basis is that I know you won't be able to smell anything, but you'd still be able to taste, which still gives the same sort of feeling. You can smell food, but you can also taste food. So if you can just taste food still at the same time without smelling it, and you know it's nice, you're laughing, and then you can eat properly.
For your looks, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Yeah, you look like Voldemort.
Although you could probably have some surgery. There's a couple here that have gone for no nose as well. So there you go. So there you have it, mate. Thank you. Oh look, we've got another one that's gone for no nose. Jack says 100k. Yeah, 100k, mate. That's over all of the of his fundraisers over the thing. It's one thing that tots up over a period of time, but it's over 3 years or whatever it is, something like that. But it's over 25,000 yesterday. So thank you for everyone that's obviously supported and donated, mate. Thank you ever so much for for thinking. I thought you'd be happy with getting you on first for a change.
That's fine.
Nice one. And hopefully see you at the Forest game.
Brilliant. Will do. Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, pal. Cheers.
See you later.
So, next up, we've got young Mr. Keith Sutton. Keith, before we just get started, I just want to do a little bit of a plug, if it's okay for you, because guys,
no problem, mate.
I don't know if most of you should know, but the Always Wolves podcast version, this goes out on podcast, has been nominated for the Football Content Awards. So if we scroll down, you can see there's all sorts of different ones, and then you go on to Best Podcast. There's the Football League, and you can see there that Always Wolves is up against Arsenal Vision, Back of the Net, which is Bournemouth, Garibaldi Red, Seagulls Social. That's obviously going to be Brighton. Garibaldi Red. Who's that going to be? Is that going to be Forest? I'm not sure. Spurs Chat, the Big Six, and the Holy Trinity, which is Villa. And we can't be having Villa winning. So if you can vote, all you need to do is go onto the Football Content Awards website, podcast, Always Wolves, and then go down to the bottom and click vote now, and vote now. And then we can potentially win. And if you don't know if you want the actual direct link for us to vote, there are various ways that you can vote, including on Twitter and Instagram. So I will put the links in the description for you now, so you can have I've lost everybody. Where are we? Here we go. I'll put it in the links in here. So guys, get voting. You can vote 3 times. It's all there for you. Look, all on the. It's all there. Has it all come through? Vote for us to win. Yeah. So on the links, get on that, and the link's also in the description below this video as well. Keith, it was good seeing you yesterday, mate.
Yes, mate, and you?
Obviously, as always, we're always hopeful before the game. How are you feeling at 90 minutes? Are you there?
Yes, I am now, mate. Yeah, you just froze a bit then.
All right. I was just saying, obviously, we were all hopeful before the game. How are you feeling on 90 minutes?
Empty.
What do you say?
Empty.
Empty's a good word. Another good word to use. Is that because it's kind of like all the hope's been sucked out of us and the joy?
Well, when I seen the team, Dave, I actually thought, that's not too bad. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, I was the same.
I'm stumped really. The team looks good. What you said earlier about they don't look fit. They don't look fit to me, Dave. We're slow at closing down. We don't see, when we had an identity, didn't we, under Nuno?
Yeah.
We'd suck teams in, and we were really structured as a side. We knew everybody knew their individual jobs. And when everybody knows their individual jobs, you're a team, aren't you?
We're a pack.
Yeah, and as soon as one player doesn't do their individual job, that's a cog in motion that's not working, and all of a sudden things start to break down. At the moment, we're too many individuals, Dave. There's no identity. There's certainly a lack of application. And the biggest thing for me at the moment is there doesn't seem to be any belief in any of them.
Well, it's been kind of dragged out of us in the last 20 odd games, bit by bit by bit. And I do have to say, I mean, on the fitness side of things, I think there's players like Martinho and probably Neves and who are really super fit because they have got the application. But there seems to be, I think Podence you could probably put up there as well. He never stops running. But there are other players that do seem to be not fit. And we're getting all these injuries as well. And it concerns me since the doctor left that was there for 11 and a half years. I can't think of his name, the one that left.
Yeah.
It's like the medical team don't seem to be playing as a team either. There seem to be mistakes that must be being made in the analysis, in the recruitment. I mean, Neto played on when he was injured. Kalajic played on when he was injured. How much extra damage has that done? I mean, the medical team, I know a player will go, let me see if I can run it off. But I don't know, all these injuries, the ACLs, we never had these injuries under Nuno. We went with like 2.5 years playing in Europe as well, and we weren't picking up injuries. And now we seem to be picking up injuries all the time, one after the other. And then you add on illness, and then you add on suspension, and you look at the team at the weekend, and you got no Neves. God, we missed him.
Oh, definitely.
Collins is out for another game. Silly boy, made a mistake. He's a young lad. It was a silly thing. He will learn from that. He's still a quality player and will be better for when he comes back in. Obviously, Boubacar Traore, I thought, looked really promising. I was quite excited to see him get a start.
He would have started for me, Dave.
He would. Ill. Neto's now out with an ankle injury for 10 to 12 weeks. The only consolation, and it's no consolation to poor old Neto, is that 5 of those weeks are World Cup. So, it's a big period. He won't miss as many games as he would have missed. But, you have to start. I'm kind of like niggling away. What's happening with the medical team? Now, for me, we need the new guy to come in, the new manager, whoever that will be, and we'll talk about that. He needs to be someone, for me, that has got some passion. Large never really showed for me any major passion. When we came back, someone mentioned it to me, and we beat Villa 3-2 last year. We were going nuts. We were going nuts when we equalised, when we won. We were going absolutely mad in the stands. It was fantastic. Large was kind of like, where Nuno would have been running up and down the touchline. No, he had some passion. I know he balled over sometimes, but that's fine. We want someone that's got some passion. Now, watching the clips from Sevilla, Julian Lopetegui has passion.
I watched it. I watched that last week. There's like an 8-minute clip on YouTube of when they got to the Europa League final. And then he's gone over where they were playing at Real Betis, and he'd gone over. The fans stayed behind after, and they were cheering him. He's in the middle of the pitch on his own, punching the air and stuff. And then even when the final game against, was it Dortmund? They lost 4-1 to last week. And he came out. They gave him a standing ovation. They didn't want him to go.
No, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I was looking when I was watching West Ham last week, and I saw David Moyes on the touchline, and Bruno sat in the chair, slumped in his chair, and I'm like, you need to be there, showing the players that that seemed to have gone from him. We want someone with some passion, someone that's got to come in that's got a winning type of mentality and is willing to put a manager needs to be putting in 130%. Nuno, bless his socks, he's not coming back, people. Nuno is not coming back. It's not going to be happening. I cried when he left because of the shock. I ain't cried with Bruno. I don't dislike the guy. But Nuno always gave everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas Bruno got a car waiting for him as soon as the game wins to go and get on a plane, going back to Portugal to see his family. And it's great. Go see your family. We know that your family's in Portugal and stuff like that. But it doesn't set the example to the players that the manager has got a car waiting on standby to take him straight to the airport. And then I was hearing as well that, players were arriving back at 1, 2, 3 in the morning, being picked up by the transport company at Wolves. They got training at 2 o'clock, training that morning. They're flying back in. That comes from the manager.
Absolutely.
Setting these examples. It's like they're going to go away. That's fine. You come back on the afternoon of Monday, not in the early hours of Tuesday, so you can have a good night's sleep and do the training. And these are probably the players that aren't living in and around Technal area and stuff.
Right,
These must be the players that still got family away and you wonder why they're not fit and right on it. It
Well,
needs a manager.
These players as well, Dave, have got to buy into whatever a manager says. He's almost got to brainwash them into believing. And Nuno did that. First 2 or 3 seasons, we won the championship, obviously, and then we had 2 seasons. We got to an FA Cup semi-final. Still breaks my heart, that game.
2 7th place finishes.
2 7th place finishes. Quarter final in the Europa League. These players, he brainwashed them into a way of playing, and that they were all together as one unit. And you've got to believe in that. These footballers are highly skilled footballers. No matter what you say, I know, I've said it, he's not good enough. He's not. These are professional, top-end footballers.
Paid very, very well.
Paid really high. So 80%, Paul will tell you this, 80% is ability. And the other 20%, Dave, is in there. And if you step out onto a football pitch, onto a running track, onto a cricket pitch, a tennis court, if you're a professional and you step out onto that arena and you don't believe in yourself and you've got a mental, you will not win.
100%.
You will not win. It's as simple as that. I did amateur sports, probably like most of the people who are watching us now, right? I did one sport specifically where I did as an amateur level to quite an high level.
What sport was that? Can I ask?
That's triathlon, right?
That's one hell of a sport.
So I did that, and I remember one season, 2013, I think it was. For the first 4 or 5 races, now I did predominantly what's called sprint triathlons. I came second in every race for the first 4 or 5 first 4 or 5 races I did in that season. And on about race 5, I was I'm sick of this, because to me, in my head, second is first loser.
Yeah.
Now that might seem harsh to some people. When you come second, you're the first loser. And my coach at the time, he came to me and he said, "What do you do pre-race?" I said, "Well, I have a chat with all the other athletes because I know them, from different clubs. I know them." He says, "Don't speak to anybody before the game, before the race." He said, don't have anything to do. Speak to them as much as you like after, but nothing. He said, because the first thing anybody will say to you is, "How's your training going? How's this going?" And if you say, "Yeah, it's not too bad," straight away, not too bad, it's not very good. Yeah. You're setting in your own mind. So the following race, what I did is I sat in my van with my bike and everything 2 hours before I was even meant to start. And I just sat there. I never spoke to anybody. I set all my race stuff up. I set off. I won the race. I went on to win 6 races that season.
Fantastic.
Right. So I went on to win 6. And it's all in the state of mind. If you don't get your head in the right place before you step on that pitch, you ain't going to win.
And do you think that's where the Wolves team are at the moment?
Well, it is. I mean, there's other factors, Dave. I mean, we don't score. We don't score many.
Right.
But
we
always rely.
Top of the show, 3 goals. We are actually the lowest scorers in the entire Football League, Premier League pyramid, because Gillingham scored 1 goal yesterday. That means that we've now scored lower than any other team.
And if I tell you now,
any other team in any other division,
Dave, you've got to go down to tier 8.
Tier 8.
Tier 8. And if I tell you that's 3, I think that's 3 tiers below Kidderminster Harriers, to find a team that has scored less goals in 9 games than Wolves.
Who would that be?
I can't remember their name. I really apologise. I can't remember, but it's definitely tier 8. We are the lowest scorers in all top flight leagues across Europe. I want to give you a few stats quickly, Dave.
Go on, let's fire away.
I know you like a stat.
I love a stat.
2021, 38 league games, 36 goals.
Yeah.
21-22, 38 league games, 38 goals. 22-23, 9 games, 3 goals. That's 85 games over the last 2 and a bit years, and we've scored 77 goals, right? I'll turn my bit of paper over for you. So now let's just have a look at this. So since we came back in the Premier League, we have spent, well, I'll tell you the centre forwards and forward players we've signed. So Jimenez, Catroni, Campagna, Silva, Podence, Guedes, Kalajdzic, Neto, Traore. The value of those players comes to £181 million. That works at £2.5 million a goal.
It's not good, is it?
I think good, mate.
Chelsea scored 3 goals in one game yesterday. We've scored 3 in 9. I mean, it's worrying. It's worrying. It's concerning. The only positives that I can take from it, from me, is that, like, hopefully the new guy comes in and he can galvanise the team. I was talking about passion, structure, organisation, being a winner, wanting to give 120% of themselves to lead the team and leading by example as a coach. There need to be a man manager. I don't think Bruno was a very good people manager. You know, a lot of people have pointed to the fact when Hoover was hung out to dry, a young lad, 20, yet he was poor, but he hung him out to dry publicly, castrated him, and that was February the 27th. And I don't think that went really down very well with the players. You don't really do that, especially to a young lad. And I think he started to lose them at that point. And you could point back, say, yeah, we had some injuries, but mentally, I think they were done because we were not going down at that point. And then the decisions that were made during the summer training camp, you know, the Cody situation, you know, bombing Cody out and all these key characters, you look back at it, you know, you're ripping some of your captain of your club and then loading him off to somewhere else where they, up until today, they've been keeping clean sheets.
Well, look at the characters we had in the side. I mean, you had people like Saiss. I mean, he was the team clown.
He's the joker of the pack.
Right. Then you had Cody, always laughing. You had Willie Bollies and people. They were a proper unit, Dave, where they were always together. Cody, you could hear Cody if there was a 30,000 crowd singing, you could still hear Connor Cody. Now, I haven't seen the Everton score today. How did they get on in the end?
I think they're losing 3-1 currently. Someone was
well, just as an example, I mean, we're on -9 goal difference now. I think it is.
-9.
I think they'll be on -2, won't they? I think I might be wrong if that score stayed the same. And Connor Cody's playing in the back four. He's been made captain, I believe, hasn't he?
Well, he was made captain. Oh, it's 2-1 after 87 minutes at the moment. The Everton are losing 2-1. I think that was the third, and it's been ruled out for VAR. Looking at the stuff, so Everton would be currently on -1, so it would be -2 if it was 3-1. So you're right.
Well, that's a damn sight better defensive back line than what we're doing at the moment, isn't it? And that's with a bloke in the back line that can't play in a back four. Connor Cody is gone. He will not come back to this club.
I can't
at
see
£4 million or whatever it is. They will buy him.
Mate, this is the other thing that you have to start asking questions on what. I mean, you had some of the recruitment, they've gone in and they've done well. I think there was that table, Emma, that Wolves had the best recruitment in terms of value for money, what they bought in? Yeah, 18 million less than market value Wolves had spent. So on the one hand, but then you look at the situation, the decision around Adama Traore going to Barcelona and paying his wages and then pulling our pants down, and he's come back and he's still not signed a contract. You look at the situation with Cody, that he was loaned out. We don't know. I'm not sure what the loan fee is. It should hopefully be a value. And then they've got an option to buy him for 4 million. It's like an England international. It's like what? And then you look at the situation with the loan of Fabio Silva. Yeah, loan him out, But there's a clause in there if we need to bring him back because we've got an injury crisis, which, from what they're saying, Raul's been struggling with his groin injury for 2 years. They're bringing in another striker that's got coming back from an ACL. And there's no clause in the contract to bring Fabio Silva back even in January, and he's scoring. He scored again yesterday. I know it's the Belgian league, but confidence is what you want in a striker.
Absolutely.
And like, who's making these decisions? What I mean, for me, if me and you tell me if I'm wrong, guys. If thinking we're like part of the recruitment team, and you're the chairman, and I'm doing the thing, and I think, yeah, it's a good idea. We'll think him over there, but if you want him, you can have him for the season, but if we've got an injury crisis and we need to bring that striker back, he's our player, so we're going to put a clause in that, or a break in January, we can bring him back in. Why is this not being put in there? I don't get it.
Nor me, mate.
I don't get it at all. Where's the logic in that? Because we need to score goals, and you need a central striker. He was playing him. I didn't know he didn't get the goals last year, as some people have but like, you still got to be able to have someone to bring in. Costa is another that is getting up to full fat, but he has had a lot of injuries, so you hope he doesn't get injured as well, because then all we've got is Chem Campbell. But I do think they're going to have to go into the market in January, big time again, because I can't see that Fosun are going to want us to sleepwalk into relegation. Anyway, coming on to who do you want as manager before we get into the man of the match bit? Who's your preference?
Lopetegui.
So you're for Julian Lopetegui as well?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There is, I think Adrian mentioned it before, the only doubt with Lopetegui,
his dad's not very well, is he, or something like that?
His dad's 90, not very well, and he might want to break and what have you. But when people turn around and say you might want to break, I can get the thing that his dad's not very well, because, like, if you'd be worried about that because it's your parents and stuff. Like, I get that, but like they're tired and run down and everything. It's like, well, they had a summer break. They've only been back playing for how long. So I'm not 100% sure on whether that's the reason. But your man of the match, your performance rating, your highlights?
Well, I think young Joe Hodge did quite well when he come on, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't think he put a foot wrong. The kid, he didn't look out of place. Anyhow, he was always wanting the ball and what have you. But overall, in the full game, I'll give it to Totti Gomez.
Totti Gomez, well done. And performance rating?
It's a 5 for me, mate.
It's a 5, yeah. People are struggling to get above that. I think I gave it a 6 coming out of the game. But I always tend to be a bit of a happy clapper sometimes with my ratings. And your highlight of the day?
Wow, seeing Manny.
Yeah. Was emotional, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jack Mullins saying Lopetegui, for him, they need an experienced manager as well. So going. So are you ready for spin the wheel?
Go on then.
You love this bit, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Like an
hole in the head.
Forrest Gump says, it's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. Here we go. We're spinning the wheel. Do aliens exist?
They've got to, haven't they? Surely. We can't be the only species in the universe. Can't be, surely.
Well, when you actually think about, guys, do aliens exist? Yes or no in the thing. When you actually think about, there's 9 planets in our solar system, and there's like billions of solar systems in the galaxy, and then there's billions of galaxies. Can't be, can we?
No.
But Adrian Richards says yes in West Brom.
There's a few there.
Carl reckons like on Mars. I'm not so sure on Mars, unless you're watching War of the Worlds, mate. Keith, thanks ever so much for coming on, mate. Really great chat again tonight. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Dave.
See you at the next one, pal.
All the best, mate.
Cheers. Cheers. So that's Keith. Guys, please make sure you smash a like on the video if you're enjoying this. And thank you very much, of course, to Wolf Life, who basically power Extra Time show. You can get your life insurance quote. You insure your phones, insure your dogs and your pets. Get a quote in the link below as well. And you get also drawn into getting a Wolves shirt. And they're a Bilston-based company. So next up, we got Nathan. Yo, Nathan, how you doing? You need your sound on, mate. Yeah, there we are.
Talk about an amateur. That's
Mate,
not good, is it?
You've got a great shirt on now.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
That's a classic shirt. Yeah. So, where did you view the game yesterday?
I'm down in Cornwall. I'm a Hollybobs, so
Yeah.
managed to find one of those lovely streams that everyone
Yeah.
does, and kind of wish I hadn't have bothered, to be honest. It wasn't great, was it? Yeah, I just really flat. I think your first two have summed it up pretty well. Empty, flat, lethargic, apathetic. We just didn't have much going forward at all, and I saw that team before we started, and I thought we might have half a chance, but never came to fruition, did it?
No, well, it never did, to be honest, and it kind of went the same way as the previous two games. Really, it's like there's huff and puff. There was no power. There's no end product. Again, Chelsea were, so superior to us on the day. And, you can't blame Steve Davis or anything like that. They did their best for what they could do. But, until the new guy comes in, I just feel like, as I said on my reaction, we're rudderless at the moment. We're kind of like a ship just floating about in the water, being blown about in the wind. We just have no direction. We have no identity really at the moment either.
No, I think identity hits the nail on the head. From the Nuno stability we had, the club was in a really good place, and all right, Cody's gone, but the energy that the likes of Cody brought to the dressing room, Sice was mentioned, that kind of pack mentality, it seems to have dissipated, and I think the injuries we've had recently haven't helped. And as you just mentioned, what's going on in the medical room, that's happening all of a sudden. We are rudderless, and the Costa signing for me was clutching at straws. That was, Jimenez. I would have got rid of Jimenez at the end of last season. There's no sentimentality in football, and unfortunately, I would have sold him off because he isn't the same player. Hate to say, he's been a wonderful player for this club, but he's not the answer right now.
It's heartbreaking actually when you. It
is.
Raul was, and he's still loved. He was so adored. He was scoring goals for fun. He had that awful injury. He's recovered. He's come back from it, and he's just not been able to get back to being the role of old. And now it's apparently this groin injury. There's rumours that he's going to retire.
Yeah.
I've
heard that.
It's such a shame because he was a complete striker and we were so lucky to have him. And, I wish we could get that back, but it just seems now that it's not going to happen. It's not going to. I hope it does, and I hope he comes back. But we've been saying this now for how long? Oh, we'll be okay after this pre-season, this, that, and the other. But why? Again, why haven't we known about this groin injury? Why hasn't what's they've known about it for 2 years, and I don't know, mate. I wonder something what goes on. I've got to trust the medical team, and I don't want to, it just seems a bit of a coincidence that all these things are happening all the time at the moment.
It really does. And, I think it comes back down to the transfer policy, signing forwards, not goal scorers. We needed goal scorers. We need to spend big in this league to get a goal scorer. £15 million for some tall kid who gets injured after 10 minutes, who's got a record of ACL and other injuries wasn't the answer. And I put that down to recruitment, and the recruitment's not been good enough for 2 or 3 seasons now. We've been buying we seem to be buying the same players all the time. The Guedes, that's not really plural, is it? But Guedes, your Netos, all those kind of players, they're very, very similar. And it's not what we need. We need a Diego Costa who's about 6 or 7 years younger, but that isn't going to happen. We haven't got a time travel machine. So it is rudderless at the moment. I think until the new guy comes in, nothing's going to change. I think we're just going to have to stumble along.
Well, you're right what you're saying. I mean, for me, we need to get that Dawson sorted in January, that they were on about. I think that would help. I think Totti and Mosquera, are there, and I think Bruton. That don't, it was great to see Totti play and Mosquera, but they want a bit. They do need a bit more experience, a bit of an older head in the dressing room, and he would be quite good. He wants to move back to the Midlands, doesn't he? I think we need another wing back, stroke full back, or a proper full back if that's what we're going to be playing full backs, because we've got obviously Johnny Otto, Semedo, and Ait Norrie. And then past that, again, we need at least another one. We need to go into the transfer market again in the summer. In January, and we've got to go and get another striker, because you can't rely on Diego Costa. I thought Chem Campbell's done all right, but to me, I'd have played Chem Campbell if we haven't got to play a damn striker. If we haven't got a striker, and he's under 23 and he's scoring under 23, he's got confidence. He's come on, not phased. He's got nothing to lose.
We give him a go, like we did with Hodge. I think with these players who are showing it in the under 23, give them a go, get them in. Let's see what they can do. If the players that are there are failing, and we've got solutions in the under 21 or under 23s or younger, then what have they got to lose at the moment? Chelsea was never going to be I never thought we were going to get anything from it. So it was one of those bonus games. And to be fair, we did go for it second half. I think the change in formation
First 10
helped.
minutes. So were you? Obviously, you just had a really good view of it because you were watching it on the stream, so you get the camera angle. I'm right low behind the goal. I mean, how did you see that first 10 minutes where you're like, oh my God, this is quite good? Because I was quite.
Yeah, I think they're just the kind of tweaking formation. But then you got to remember that Chelsea weren't playing a full strength team. They
changed 5 or 6 players.
Aubameyang and Sterling, and loads of. I mean, their bench looked incredible. It just showed the kind of gulf in class between ourselves and Chelsea. But they are one of the big, probably the big 4 teams in the country, aren't they? But yeah, I think that second half definitely it looked a lot better, a lot healthier. But again, there's no, cutting edge is something Wolves fans seem to say every other sentence. I think we do lack. We don't seem to be taking a gamble. Just get that ball in the box, have a go. And it's wonderful to see Adama back, because at least he's one of those players that will try and get to the byline and get it in. And we've seen a couple of opportunities, I think, created from that recently.
So what's the answer, Nathan?
Oh, God, if I knew that, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. I'd be
what's the manager that's going to, do you think, can actually...
It's Lopetegui. I think Lopetegui is pretty much nailed on. And, I think I've said this last week to someone else. There's no such thing as the perfect manager in football. If there is, they're managing Man City, Barcelona, Bayern. Even then, there tends to be a cycle. So Lopetegui, I think, is as good as it gets at the moment. Good record at Sevilla. Good record when he managed Spain. 20, I think, unbeaten. 16 wins, 4 draws, or something very similar. Yeah. Loved at Sevilla. But just not backed by the board in the summer. They sold a lot of good players.
Well, that's what a lot of people don't seem to understand when we're talking about Lopetegui and going, oh, why do we want someone that's got Sevilla to the same position that Wolves are in at the moment? Let's just take a look at his record with Sevilla. He's got them into the Champions League spots in La Liga, a tough league, probably the toughest league outside of the Premier League, with a lot of competition in that league. It's not like the Scottish League or the Portuguese League where there's like 3 or 4 teams, or, they're always finishing the top 3. He's got Sevilla into the Champions League positions 3 times. He's got them and won the Europa League. He played us off the park when we played them in the quarterfinals. Raul had that penalty, and obviously he never missed till then. He had to miss that one. He missed it. And we were never in the game, and they deservedly won. Even though it was only 1-0, they were relentless. They went and beat United in the semis. I don't know who they beat in the final. Can't remember.
No,
but
not
they
me.
won the Europa League, and then he's done really well with them. And then the last transfer window, they're both the centre backs, didn't they?
Yeah.
And some other players, and they sold a lot of their players, and this is the reason why they're in a bit of a slump now. Not necessarily just Lopetegui.
This is what happens, lack of investment. Look at Leicester. Leicester were a good team. Lack of investment, because they can't invest. And this season they're really struggling. I think Sevilla have probably fell at that hole as well. But he's a good manager, and we tried to get him 6 years ago, and I think the board really do want to get him in this time. I just hope, as you said, I know he's got issues going on in his personal life, and they come first. I think if his dad is really ill, that's obviously far more important than any football. But hopefully, his dad recovers and he gets a bit of focus and he wants this job, because I think he would be a good. And I think someone mentioned it earlier. There's clips of him and his passion in the dressing room. He's something we never really saw from Bruno. Was that passion?
He's a bit Conte-like, isn't he?
He is. You watch him and he's really sort of aggressive and on it. And that's, all right, there's a fine line between that. And I think Nuno, as you said, crossed that occasionally. But with Bruno, he's been a bit of a wet fish, and you never saw that. And there's been discipline issues within the club, and that's obviously not been addressed. And I think we need someone. Lopetegui sounds like the guy hopefully can come in and bring it all back together. But yeah, great stats there by Carl.
Well, let's just look at those stats. Julian Lopetegui, our resident stat man, Carl, Always Wolves. Managerial stats: 161 wins in 279 career, 57.71 win percentage, 1 Europa League, 1 under-19 champion, 1 under-21 champion. Not bad stats. Actually, just before we start talking about the actual all the nuts and bolts of the game. It appears that we saw the statement from Bruno Lage about Wolves and the goodbye message, which was nice sentiment. But then he unfollowed Wolves, and all the players have unfollowed him. At all, I went through. Someone said it to me, and I was like, surely not. He's still following the likes of Joe Felix and some of his other clubs and stuff like that. He's unfollowed Wolves on Instagram, and there is not one Wolves player that is following Bruno Lage on his Instagram account now. That, to me, says everything. There's something was not right with him and the players. It's like they like him and stuff like whatever, and then you'd still connect. They don't want to know. See ya, gone. So something had gone massively wrong. In January, he was standing there with his team, manager of the month. October, end of September, he's gone, and since then it's gone downhill. And I still think it goes back to that February period, and then him blaming the players, and it's all gone from there. And then the decisions that he's made, he went all in on the back four, which is great. He went, and then he made all these decisions on the bombing whichever players he's gone out, and it's backfired. And this is why we're rudderless now, and this is why we need someone that's strong, can command respect, can manage each player. Some player, like in life and like in management in any job and any career, some people need a kick up the backside. You need to take them aside, like, you're not doing your job. If you're not sorted, I'm sorry, you're going to be gone. Others need an arm around the shoulder. What's up? Come on, I'm here to support you. Every good manager knows the best way to motivate individuals to make them better than the parts. And that's what we need. And we need someone as well that can connect with the fans. I don't think Bruno ever really properly connected with the fans. He was someone described as beige.
Well, yeah, I think even beige was too powerful a colour, I think, for Bruno. I think he's just insipid. Just never gave you confidence, did he? I think that the whole, as you were mentioning earlier, the player he bombed out, and his name escapes me, the Dutch guy who he bombed out and called out.
Hoover, the young lad.
You don't do that, and that's a young lad. You don't do that as a manager. What's that achieving? That's just isolating him. All right, he wasn't a very good player, and he did. I remember that Liverpool game like it was yesterday when he came on, and Aït-Nouri had Salah in his pocket all game, And then he came on, and he's backing off, and he scored. But regardless, he's a young lad who's probably lacking a bit of confidence. Don't do that. And the Cody thing, there's more to the Cody thing than I think that we know. The whole, he
It'll
knew
all
something
come
was
out
going
in
wrong
the
there.
wash at some point. That will.
Indeed.
It will all come out in
Indeed.
the wash. It definitely will. So for you, what's your man of the match, your performance rating, and your highlight of the day from where you were watching it?
A generous 4, I think, for the team performance. Núñez for man of the match, just for that one run where he skirted past about 4 or 5 Chelsea players. That was probably the moment of the game because there weren't many to choose from. And you've got to make it a hat trick with Manny because his achievements as a human being was just phenomenal. That guy is, he's one of the greatest people I think this club has. And some of the stuff he gets on Twitter is really uncalled for. He's such a lovely human being.
I've had nasty stuff on Twitter as well.
Haven't we all, Dave? Haven't we all? You just rise above it.
And to be honest, it's like I've said it before. In terms of social media and stuff like that, if you don't like what we do, that's fine. If you disagree, that's fine. That's human nature. You don't always agree. If you want to have banter and a laugh, that's fine. But when it becomes abusive and using horrible, toxic, nasty words, and then you get all the little schoolboy bullies that their mates that gang in on the top of it as well, then that's not right. I think social media can be such a fantastic place, and there's majority of people are nice and good, and and I've had Twitter conversations with people and conversations on here. We don't agree, and I've invited some of those to come on the channel and talk about it. And my job as a host of something like this is, even if I agree with something, is to challenge that argument so we can have the debate. People can express their views, and I'll have anyone on, even if they can't stand me. Come and talk. Let's talk. But at the end of the day, it's all about opinions, isn't it? So it's one of them things.
Yeah, but as I said to you before, Dave, the only opinions that matter are the people that matter to you. So if you get that toxic, vitriol on Twitter, as we all do, just rise above it and think, well, it's just some idiot 14-year-old, prepubescent 14-year-old in his bedroom. He's been sent to bed early and he's just taking his anger out. That's the way I always look, and I think I just don't care. It's just an opinion. If you want to be nasty and vile, I used to write for the paper many years ago, and the amount of abuse I used to get, I loved it because sometimes you just put opinions out there, knowing they were so opposite to what people thought of the day that you were going to get it. But yeah, regardless, I rise above it. So, but I'm sure you're a bit more in the limelight.
Did you give your man of the match?
Núñez.
Yeah, I went with Núñez. That one run that he did through the middle was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Incredible.
If we can get him playing and Neves and the right system, the right manager, I still think we'll be okay. But if we don't, we're going to be in serious trouble because, are the players up for a relegation fight? I'm not really thinking that we're going to be in a relegation fight yet, but we can't be complacent. We've got to start finding a way to get these players playing as one pack, as one team, working together, working for each other, get the spirit back and get firing. And I think if we can get the confidence and get goals, we can get it right, we'll start to go on a run. And the next 3 games, well, to me, we've got to be taking 7 points out the next 9 points at least.
Yeah, very winnable. I think the belief just needs to be put back into the team, as you said, Dave. We need, the team to come together again. And at the moment, Boubakary Traoré for me is that could be a big hit if he does well. Oh, let's have a look at this. What am I gonna get?
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Here we go. We're spinning. Oh, this one comes up occasionally, but it's a good one. If you've not had this one, if you can have 3 dinner guests, dead or alive, round your gaff, who are you gonna have?
Wow. That's going to be a tough one. I'd probably have, and these names might mean much to anybody listening, but Boris Blanc.
And I have drawn a blank.
Yeah, he's the main protagonist for a band called Yellow, who are my favourite band, a Swiss synth band.
Yeah.
Told you that mean nothing.
Yeah.
I'd probably have Stevie Bull, because I've always gone on with Bully. I used to write a column with him many years ago. He's a top bloke. And third one, I'd quite like a bit of Frank Skinner, just to rile him up about the Albion. I think that'd be quite good fun, wouldn't it?
Frank Skinner. And Carl says, can we get Nathan on again? I'm sure you'll hopefully, because it's been a while.
That's very kind, Carl. Thank you.
Nath, I don't know if you have done, but drop me on Twitter your actual number and then we'll connect on WhatsApp. It makes it so much easier.
Sure, will do.
When I'm sending out messages saying if people want to come on and all that sort of jazz. So that would make it a lot easier to connect in that play. Mate, that's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for coming on. Much appreciated. Great conversation, some great points. And Nathan, you come on again?
I'd love to. Yeah, please, Dave. That'd be great. Thanks for having me, mate.
Brilliant. All right, see you later, mate.
Cheers, Dave. Take care.
Cheers. Bye. So that's Nathan. So yeah, Nathan will come on again. He'll be hopefully got like 190 on the channel. If you want to join in the conversation watching live at the moment, all you have to do is be a subscriber and you can join in the conversation. We're getting very close to that 30,000 mark subscribed on YouTube. We're on 29844. So if you can subscribe, that would be amazing. And someone can tell me how many likes is on the video, because we always like to get over 100 likes when we're doing this. So hopefully he's going to be there. I'm going to bring him on the screen and hope he's going to appear. That's Dan. But at the moment, as you can see, he's not there. Oh, hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Can we get your image on there, please, mate?
I'm trying it. Yeah. Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
We have it. Hi, mate. How you doing?
Hi, mate. I'm all right. Thank you, Dave. How are you?
Now, I met this young man yesterday down at Chelsea, and tell everyone your background, because this is your debut.
Well, I do my own sort of wall stuff in my background.
Yeah.
I run my own page on Instagram.
And I'll tell you what, your graphics are great. I'm going to get you doing some graphics as well. They're really good.
Cheers. I've got 2,000 something followers. My name is South Bank Wanderers on Instagram. I've been working in the background while I've been watching on I'm making a Collins graphic right now for some stuff he's done so far. So yeah, I've
been doing a what?
I've been making a graphic for Nathan Collins so far.
Fantastic, mate. Well, if you want to ping anything over, that's for us. We'll get you on. You're quite good, actually.
Yeah,
at it, man. You like your design and stuff like that, do you?
Yeah.
That's a passion of yours, which is fantastic. And Merv said there's only 762 likes so far, and there's 195. So yeah, smash the like button. So how long have you been a Wolves fan, mate? And whereabouts in the world are you?
All my life. I'm like 30 miles down the road from Wolverhampton. I'm not far at all. So.
Oh, so you're quite close in.
Yeah.
And are you a season ticket holder?
Yeah, I've been a season ticket holder for about 7 years. So. And
would that be in the South Bank?
Steve Bull, actually.
Oh, you're South Bank Wanderers and you're in the Steve
Bull?
Yeah.
I don't know how that happens, but it's how it happened.
So you went down yesterday. Did you get to many away games?
Yeah, we get to pretty much every away game, apart from like games like Brentford or
the ones. So you're kind of like got decent points.
I
class like me and we're classes as bronze. We've got the gold and silver, and then we tend to be in the points just underneath that. So I'll say, we're kind of bronze.
I think we've got the maximum amount of loyalty points you can have. So
yeah, we're kind of on the same. So when you get to a Brentford or a Bournemouth who's got low allocation, it never goes generally to points, does it?
No, it doesn't. Like there's the ballot, which is like 50 tickets, but yeah.
Is there even a ballot for Brentford?
There's a ballot for Brentford, I think. But
there is.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many tickets.
I don't think I've seen that yet, because the producers normally on top of that sort of stuff. Lucy the Golden Girl says, "Yay, Steve Bull." So you'll have to go over and say hi to Lucy. She's lovely. She's in the Steve Bull stand as well. And you guys do make a decent amount of noise these days.
Yes, yeah. It's most of the time all the crowd noise is just banter between the South Bank and Steve Bull.
It is. Well, the North Bank don't do too bad, mate. I have a go anyway. I always sing and stuff like that. So, Riddy here has said, anyone who thinks we're not getting relegated, we've scored 8 goals in 6 months and the lowest scoring division in all 4 divisions. Well, we talked about this earlier with Sutton. We're the lowest scorer in the top 8 divisions of English football, actually, not just the top 4 and most of Europe. So lads, he went to all the Division 4 games. My God, well, let's hope we ain't going to go back there. But, so mate, your thoughts on the game from your perspective? We're all jovial before the match, weren't we?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have hope. I had like that sort of, the feeling where you know you're probably going to lose, but you just got like a little bit of confidence. Like I think I said something like a 1-0, like 90+ in Costa winner. So,
yeah, I was kind of hoping for the same thing, to be honest, mate. I was really, really hoping that it would be like that type of thing. I've put the link for the Football Content Awards in the description there for people can get on and vote, which is only till midnight. How did you think Diego Costa did?
I didn't think much of how he played, to be honest. He had a few touches in the box, all of which really got stuck under his feet. Really, he couldn't do anything about. I've seen a few people like criticising the testimonial he got when he testimonial. You know what I mean, when he went off the pitch. And
to be fair, I know people said, "Oh yeah," but you can't blame him for that.
No,
it's like he's a Chelsea legend. He's won 2 championships. He was back at the club. That opportunity came off. He soaked it up. He's that type of character, and I've got no problem with that at all. Why not? He went. He did everything he could when he was on the pitch. It weren't like he wasn't trying to score a goal. So I think that's a bit harsh. But there are some people that will get on people's back for anything.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta get behind him at the moment because he's not going to be that high on confidence. I mean, he's just played 6 months out in Brazil and didn't do particularly well. So him having that like 40,000 people behind him singing his name, and all wanting to like come up to him and like give him high fives and stuff. That's going to do his confidence a lot of good as well. So it's good for us in a way.
Yeah, the Wolves fans were singing. He's got his song, hasn't he? It's Diego, not Diogo. I was saying that 2 weeks ago, and people are finally. I was singing it 2 weeks ago to myself, and I can think it's Diego, not Diogo. It makes me happy. It's obvious, isn't it? And and he did do what was that when we were singing that, and he looked over at where we were. Did he wink or wave or smile or something? He went like this.
I think he. Yeah.
I like that. He was like, cheers type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, if he scores against Forest as well, it's all forgotten again, isn't it? So.
Well, if anyone scores against Forest, it'd be nice. So because like crikey, we can't score. So how were you feeling when the game? What was your overwhelming feeling as the game ended?
It was just all a bit of inevitability about it, wasn't it? I had a feeling that it was always going to come, and I sort of prepared myself for it. Like, I'm worried, if anything, because as some people said, we scored 3 goals in 9 games. Like, is it 77 in the last 80 something in the last since the start of 2020-21, and it's just something. I don't think it's a skill issue because we've got players like Guedes, Pedence, Neto on his back, Raul, who are all, they're all players who play for the national teams. They're all, good at what they do. They all know how to put the ball in the net. But it's the fact that we haven't actually played that well. Well, of course, I haven't played that well, but we haven't, been playing well for months now, and it's starting to show with how little goals we're scoring.
So All Lives wants you to give us some positives. Come on, Dan. Give the Wolves fans watching a bit of positivity. Let's have some positivity to end the show. Come on.
So the defense is brilliant as well. Collins is 21, and he, apart from the odd mistake, he does look like he's 26, 27, and coming into his prime. And he's still got about maybe 10 to even 15 years left, probably at the top. If he pushed his potential, and we got him on a 5-year contract or something, and that's amazing. Kilman as well. The midfield as well, I think, has got a lot stronger. Obviously, we've had Neves for a while. Nunes, he's really growing into it, really starting to look like, he's worth the money we paid for him. We've got Boubacar Traore, who I've seen him, he's only played a couple games, but he's looked solid in the games he's played.
He's had a couple of cameo appearances. I was really looking forward to seeing him start at the weekend, and of course he was ill. So, hey ho, everything goes wrong.
Yeah, then we got to see Hodge though, didn't we? He made his first game, and
Joe Hodge.
Yeah, he made his first game, and I thought we could have brought him in on loan or bought him for 10, 15 million quid, and I don't think anyone would have argued about it.
He did. He looked good, to be honest. We got some good and talented players. He did good, and so that's promising. So yeah, when are we going to start scoring some goals? Look into your crystal ball. When's it happening? The pause there doesn't enthrall me with a lot of confidence. Okay, I'll ask you another question. Who do you want as manager?
Lopetegui. If it was up to me, if I could have anyone in the world, I'd want Pochettino, because I think, give him the squad that we've got. It's a bit like what he started out with at maybe Southampton or Tottenham, and I just think he could do something with it. But out of the actual candidates, I definitely want Lopetegui.
And before we get on to the three main questions and then spin the wheel, if you were a betting man right now, are Wolves getting relegated? Yes or no?
No.
Oh dear, it's
No.
pausing. Oh no, you don't sound that confident, Dan. I've got to say.
If we get Lopetegui, I think we're all right. But if we don't, I think Pedro Martins, I would not be confident if we got him at all. But if we did get Lopetegui and quick, I'd be fairly confident we survive.
Okay, so your man of the match, your performance rating, and your moment of the day.
Man of the match, I'd probably give it to Joe Hodge, just because he surprised me a lot. I thought he played really well. I thought he played quite well for what he played as well.
Yeah. If Joe Hodge is watching this back tonight and hearing what we were saying about him in the reactions, he's going to be, I did okay. He's going to be happy. He's getting a lot of good positivity.
Performance, can't really give anyone 5, can you?
Well, I did. I gave a 6, but in retrospect, I probably would downgrade that to a 5 now. If I was going to VAR on it, I'd probably overrule that 6 and downgrade it to a 5.
yeah, definitely. So,
highlight of the day, other than meeting me for the first time in person. Hey,
it's got to be Manny, isn't it?
He was fantastic. Of course. Inspiration.
Sensational.
I reckon he could have probably, if he'd have asked him, he'd have probably gone on and played wing back and had a good go at it as well.
Yeah. I mean, can he play up front?
Well, I can. I'd have a go. Guys, before we get on to spin the wheel, because we're going to get on to spin the wheel, I just want you to put a yes or a no in the comments. Are your gut feeling right now, are Wolves getting relegated after 9 games? Are you saying yes or no? Yes or no? That's all you got to say. It's a yes or a no question. Are Wolves going down in your opinion? Yes or No. After 9 games. What are you going to say? So we've got Andrew, no. Alf says yes. Carl, no. Tenbury Wells, Martin. Oh, I'm surprised. Says yes. No lives, no. Keith, no. Christine says yes. Oh dear. No. Katie's a no. Lucy's a no. Julie's a no. And do you know what's great? We've got so many ladies that are watching as well, which is brilliant. And we do want to get more females on the show. So if you want to get involved, just get a message. We've got quite a few no. So I'd say that's probably about 75% no. We won't. That's positive. So the fans still believe. They still believe that we're going to be okay, which is good.
Yeah. I mean,
you've got to get this chat poll up and running. You're right, Andrew. I will get there. I've got the wheel. We'll look into the poll thing. It is something I'd like to be able to get. Then I'll have to plan these polls then. So yes, no. So it looks like 75-80% still got the face, mate.
Yeah. I think whoever does come in, like, I think the thing that's got us in the position we have, because the players we have really put the squad on paper, it should be, fighting for top 10, fighting for European football even. But I think just because of how much we've been, not scoring goals, not really playing to 100%, it's the heads have just dropped, and I just couldn't think Bruno would have been able to get them back up again. And we need someone who can do that.
I think he's come clear to everyone that he had to go. Sadly, I kind of like gradually kept making, like a lot of us was giving him reasons, but I'm not. I just want us to kick on now because it's depressing. I have to edit these match vlogs, and it's like all the time I'm editing the vlogs, and it's like there's hardly any joy in them, and I want more. I want joy back. Right, you ready?
Yes, yeah. Go for it.
Spinning the wheel. What is your favourite away day? Now, it can be any away day, but what's your favourite one that comes to mind?
What, one I've been on, or one that I'd like to go to, just best all round?
I'll tell you what, we'll do one of each. One you've been on and one you'd like to go on.
One I've been on, Cardiff away in the Championship.
Yeah. Is that because of the game or that particular game?
I think it was the one that basically, we had the 2 penalties in the last minute.
So that's like as a moment to have been there.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily in terms of the best experience, the whole thing, but the actual being there for that game and them 2 crazy penalties at the end and Nuno running on the pitch and Warnock running away from him, a bit like Carry On film and all that sort of jazz. That was a great moment. Well said. And one you'd like to go on?
I always like the London away days, mainly because when me and my dad go, we stop like overnight and always have time in London. It's not really obviously Albion away is a big one, but sort of a less obvious one. I remember go Fulham away because it's the ground I want to go to. It's the ground with a good atmosphere.
Well, you'll be able to go this year.
Yes, yeah.
Because they've got the new they've got the new stand as well, haven't they? Which is which is fantastic. So listen, Dan, thanks for coming on and making your debut. Thanks for waiting. I didn't know if I'd actually got you because camera was turned off, your sound was turned off, and I was hoping that you'd appear when I pulled you on, which you have, which is really, really good. So much appreciated. Guys, just remember, vote for us in the FCAs. Literally, links in the description below. You can vote on website, like people said, multiple browsers, incognito browsers. Just get voting. Always Wolves on Instagram. the links there, and also cut and paste onto Twitter, because it could make the difference with getting a result, working together as a pack to get that result. Guys, listen, thank you ever so much for all my guests tonight. It's been much appreciated. We've had a real good chat. I know it's sad every week we come on and we've not scored a goal and we've not won and everything's kind of doom and gloom, but there are sunnier days. As they say, it's always darkest before the dawn, and Wolves' motto is out of darkness cometh light, and that light will shine again soon. Hopefully there will be a new bright light shining and we'll start to look more positive. We've got to keep believing, keep the faith that they get the right manager, and as always we'll be reporting it on the channel and the podcast. And until the next one, from everyone in the chat, thank you for joining us. Please smash a like. If you're new, subscribe. And all the guests, good night, God bless. Wherever you are in the world, love to you and your families. Always Wolves.